with Queen City Stamp Art, and today I'm going to be bringing you a video to show you how to create 3 different base cards using designer series paper. So today's cards are going to feature, my samples are going to feature the Friendly Gnomes stamp set, which is in the January to April mini catalog. It's brand new from Stampin Up in the new catalog. And in case you didn't know this, the Gnomes dies from the holiday catalog did carry over, and they're item number 159625. I'll list that in the description of the video, along with all the other supplies I'm using today. These dies do coordinate with this new Friendly Gnomes stamp set. So you get really 2 stamp sets for one if you bought this as a bundle out of the holiday catalog with the Kindest Gnomes stamp set. Now you can use it to cut the gnomes out of the Friendly Gnomes stamp set. And also, one of the things that I really love about the detail dies in this is that they create a really cute little gnome. You've got his boots and his nose and his hat and his beard and some mushrooms with caps and stems and a little grass sprig. It's just really, really cute detail dies in this particular set, especially if you love gnomes. So I'm going to be using these to complete the cards, but I'm going to be showing you completed cards. So basically, the stamp set that I used was really just for some of the sentiments on my cards. And I used the detail dies to complete the cards. So I'll show you a completed card of each template, but in the meantime, I'm also going to be using paper from the Happy Forest Friends collection. So this is the Happy Forest Friends 12x12 designer series paper. I feel like this pairs beautifully with the gnome set, so I'm going to be using that to create my base cards. And then I wanted to just show you that on page 40 of the new January to April mini catalog is where you can find that Friendly Gnome stamp set for spring. So it's really cute. I think it'll be really fun to play with. So I'm using my trimmer today, and I have this in place so that I can show you the actual scoring lines for each of the individual cards. So this first little card that we're making, if you're jotting down measurements, like I said, you don't have to because there is a cutting guide that you can print off. But basically, this designer series paper measures 5 1/4 by 11 inches long. And I'm going to lay this on the top of my trimmer and the long edge at the top, and I'm going to score it at 1 inch, 4 inches, and 7 inches. And when you're scoring designer series paper, make sure you use a light touch. You don't want to poke through the paper because it is kind of delicate. And that's it. 1, 4, and 7 are the score lines for that particular card. Now, this base card, you're basically just going to fold on the score lines. I love cards like this because you get to see both sides of the designer series paper. Oftentimes that paper is so pretty, but we only get to see one side of it. You kind of have to choose which one you want. All right, so this creates kind of the basis for our card. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take some adhesive and I'm just going to glue down this front little flap, just like that. And then I'm going to take a piece of cardstock that measures 5 1/2 by 4 1/4. And that's my base layer. And I'm just going to put some adhesive on the back of the big section of the designer series paper here that I'm using. And I'm going to center this on the front of this panel. Just like that. And this is how you get your little base card. So it's primarily designer series paper, but this cardstock layer gives it a little bit more rigidity and integrity. So now what we're going to do is kind of decorate this part. So we're going to take a little panel for the inside. The colored panel measures 2 1/2 by 4 3/4. And then the white panel layers inside and measures 2 1/4 by 4 1/2. So I'm just going to layer these 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to layer this whole thing right to the inside of my card. And I made it narrow because I don't want it to show through when the card is closed. So when I close the card, that part will be covered, and then I can do whatever I want to decorate the front or any of the other panels. But isn't that so pretty? It just really shows off that designer series paper so well, and it's kind of unexpected. So let me show you the finished card that I created using this template. So I die cut some of the gnome details, and I just created like a little gnome scene. I laid down a circle of vellum and just kind of built my scene on top of that. And then I used my Wink of Stella brush pen and colored in the mushroom cap to give it a little extra shimmer. And just added some red rhinestones and a little bit of linen thread to finish off this cute card. And it says, wishing you the most magical of birthdays. So that sentiment is from the new gnome, that spring gnome set from the January to April catalog. So this is card number 1, and that's your little template. Okay, moving on to card number 2. I'm going to bring the trimmer back in so that we can score again. So for card number 2, we're going to be doing kind of a matchbox fold. And so for this particular card, I had the direction of the cardstock going up and down like this. And I'm going to lay the long side of the card, of the designer series paper, on the trimmer. This measures 4 by 11 inches. And I'm going to score it at 4.5. And 9 3/4. 4.5 and 9 3/4. That's it. And now I'm just going to fold it again on the score lines. Get some nice crisp folds here. And what happens is this little front panel will overlap the bottom. And then all you need to do is take, oh, I forgot my stapler, but all you would do is take a little stapler and staple right here on your base card. And then you end up with this little flap that fits inside. And so to make this card a bit more sturdy, I again have another panel. This one measures 5.5 by 4.25. And we're just going to close this up and add some adhesive to the back of the designer series paper. We're just going to center this. On a little base card, like that. And then for the inside, I have a piece that measures 3 3/4 by 3 3/4, and this would be the inside of our card. And these little panels of cardstock just add to the rigidity of the final card, and it makes it feel a little bit more substantial. But you're not missing out on either side of this beautiful designer series paper. So like I said, if you had stapled this, you'd have like this little matchbook kind of style where this tucks in. So it's really, really cute. Let me show you my finished card. So for this one, again, I used those cute little gnomes, and I did add the staple. I added a little love you sentiment. And then this just opens this way, wishing you the most magical of birthdays. So it's super, super cute. Just such a fun little design. And you could do this with any designer series paper and make a cute card. You know, plenty of room to decorate however you want. So that's card number 2. Just going to bring the trimmer back in. All right, card number 3. The strip of designer series paper measures 4 1/4 by 12 inches. And for this one, this is just a normal portrait style top folding card. So we're going to score it at 1 inch. So we can bring some of that neutral pattern to the front. And we're going to score it at 6.5 inches. And then again, we're just going to take our bone folder and give it a nice crease. And then we're going to fold this up and crease that nice. And then I'm going to add a little bit of adhesive to this flap and glue this down. So you get both the themed and the neutral patterns on the front of the card. And then for this one, what makes it special is that we're actually going to be adding, instead of adding this layer to a panel, we're going to be adding these panels to the inside. So basically, we're just going to glue them together. Like that. And then we'll glue them to the inside of the card, just kind of centering these panels. So these panels, the colored panel measures 4 by 5 1/4. And the white panel measures 3 3/4 by 5. Just like this. And then you have just a normal top folding portrait style card that you can decorate. And I'll bring in my final one just to show you what I did. So I added a little banner here with "There's Gnome One Better Than You," which I thought was cute. And I added, again, another little vellum circle just to kind of bring the gnome forward, and added some grass panels and some little mushrooms with some Wink of Stella on there to that card. And then on the inside, I stamped some balloons and said, "Wishing you the most magical of birthdays." So just such a cute little card. These are so fun to make. And if you have lots of extra designer series paper, it's a great way to use it up. I'll bring all the cards back in so you can see them again. So there's some nice pictures over at Queen City Stamp Art. I will link to the cutting guide so that you can pop over there and see the photos and download the cutting guide if you would like it. Thanks so much for watching today. I appreciate it, and I'll be back next week with more quick and easy cards. Thanks.